All right, back here on Free Agency Frenzy, and we have another potential deal in the works. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport citing sources that have the Bucs in a one-year deal for Baker Mayfield, the 2017 -- 1 overall pick, $8.5 million, which gives him the opportunity to battle for a starting spot with 2020 second-round pick Kyle Trask. So a marquee quarterback name off the market as the Bucs have a deal with Baker. All right, let's take a look at what the Patriots have been up to. Patriots sitting in the number 14 hole on night one of the 2023 NFL Draft, April 27th in Kansas City. Worked out some deals with some offensive linemen to come into the fold there in New England, re-signing Jonathan Jones. And still with some wide receiver needs, some defensive back needs after the retirement of Devin McCourty. Matthew Judon, stud edge rusher, doing his best to recruit some talent. Says, all right, we're going to go get big play Slay, Darius Slay, who's just released by the Philadelphia Eagles. DeAndre Hopkins is next, and then OBJ, we're coming for you after that. So trying to get that all-star team together for the New England Patriots. Mike, you into that? I mean, is Matthew Judon assistant GM? Is that, what do you got?
Who wants to tell Matthew that his overtures last year, they didn't work? He was trying to pitch everybody to come to the Patriots. Didn't happen. Eventually, you do have to pay the money. And right now, the Patriots have been very slow to dish out the cash here during free agency. But as we saw on the screen there, a couple additions at tackle, including, as I just reported, Riley Reiff expected to sign with the Patriots, an 11-year veteran. Played mostly left tackle over the course of his career. Coming off a very good year for the Bears, sort of a resurgence for him. They signed Calvin Anderson a day ago, with someone they had in 2018 or 2019, I forget the year, but they had him here, eventually let him go. But he started 12 games and played 41 games in his NFL career. So clearly they looked at the tackle position, as we've told you. That was a weak spot for them, and they had a rash of injuries there, so they want to build up some depth there as well. Yadni Kajust, another player they tendered the original tender to him as a restricted free agent, so looking to bring him back as well. And it makes me wonder now if Trent Brown, who went from right tackle to left tackle last season with the switch with Isaiah Wynn that didn't work for either man, if he's now headed back to right tackle. So that's one area of need for the Patriots, and it looks like they're at least putting some bodies at that position. Whether they've upgraded, we'll have to see going forward.
Let's move on to the AFC East to the Buffalo Bills. Move on the offensive side of the ball. What do you see in there?
Well, signing Deontay Hardy is, I think, a terrific move. If he was hurt last year with the turf toe, people don't really see him a lot. He's a little guy, about 5'6", 5'7", 170 pounds, but absolutely explosive when he has the ball in his hands, not just as a returner, but as a receiver. And that's a position, the slot position, that was a hole for the Bills last year. They gave Isaiah McKenzie a 2-year deal. He had a great camp. They thought he was going to blossom after a good push 2 years ago to end the season, including a double-digit catch game against the Patriots. But just a lack of consistency there forced them to bring back Cole Beasley at the position. Beasley still wants to play, by the way, going forward, but not a ton left in the tank there. So here's an addition where they give themselves some speed and they hope some consistency because, you know, you have Stephon Diggs. You know what that's all about. Gabe Davis made a nice jump in year two, but this will be something that I think can give them a little bit more balance on their offense going forward.
All right, Mike Giardi there with the very latest around the AFC. All right, free agency frenzy rolling on here on NFL Network with a look at your Cowboys notebook. Picking number 26 on April 27th in Kansas City. Re-signing Leighton Vander Esch and Donovan Wilson on the defensive side of the ball yesterday. Still some needs out there, as you see and can find on NFL.com. Trying to get back to the NFC Championship and a Super Bowl for the first time since 1995. Still a couple of bucks in cap space, according to overthecap.com, as we bring in Jane Slater. And Jane, we were talking with Ian Rappaport and the Insiders at the top of the show about Ezekiel Elliott and a potential departure from Dallas. What's your understanding of that situation?
It's the same. Unfortunately, it was my understanding. I'm getting mixed messages on this, Rhett, that they were. I tend to have thought and believed that maybe Emmitt Smith may have had a conversation with Ezekiel Elliott and talked to him about his final year, going to the Arizona Cardinals, and how he regretted that. And I tend to believe that the Cowboys and Zeke are going to figure this out. But the more I'm talking to people this morning, it looks like they are, in fact, looking to move on from Zeke.
I know you'll keep following it for us. But again, the deals that we've seen running backs into here over the last 24 hours with what happened down in Miami and David Montgomery, relatively reasonable type deals out there in terms of money. Let's move on to what's next for the Cowboys in free agency. What are you seeing?
I love that people keep thinking that I'm the decision maker on my Twitter and telling me to go get you DeAndre Hopkins. I have nothing to do with the Cowboys moves. I just report on it, Rhett.
Get stuff done.
DeAndre Hopkins is a name that keeps getting associated with the Dallas Cowboys because you've got guys like Micah Parsons out there actively recruiting for him. It's my understanding that the Cowboys aren't engaged in any serious talks with DeAndre Hopkins, nor is there any talks with OBJ. I know Jerry Jones has come out and said his affinity for OBJ. We talked about that free agent chase last offseason. Cowboys weren't even at his workout. Now, I think that if OBJ is still there in a couple of months after the draft, yeah, I think the Cowboys could go and see if they couldn't get something done. But with his price tag right now rumored to be around $20 million, and we saw what Jacoby Myers got, I just think he's outpricing himself for Dallas and what they're trying to do with their roster. I could see them going and getting a free agent wide receiver, something along the lines of like a T.Y. Hilton. I don't think it will be T.Y. Hilton, but it would be a contract, something along those lines. And I also think that you can fully expect that they'll address the wide receiver position in the draft. They still feel really good about what they think is going to be a second year for Michael Gallup coming back from his ACL injury. And then obviously CeeDee Lamb really came around for them as their #1 wide receiver last year.
All right, Jane Slater with the very latest surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. Thanks, Jane. Check back with you throughout the day. When we come back here on Free Agency Frenzy, take a look at what's going on with the New England Patriots. Some moving parts there as well. Mike Giardi will give us a look at what the Patriots have been up to next.